100% fake free. This is the Robbie Cruise Show, and we're live from my garage. And famous people are gonna sit right there. Nice. 90% of all single-use plastic goes to landfill or ends up in our oceans. UNsmother Nature. Let her breathe. Episode 10 of the Robbie Cruise Show. We've made it this far with your help as well. If you haven't subscribed yet to the channel, please do so. There's a subscribe button just down the bottom. Also hit the notification button so that you know that when we are launching a new video or we've got some new content. We've got a returning guest on the show today. If you haven't yet, during the week we've posted a bunch of the stuff that he's done. But Pieter Venter, incredible to have you back. Thanks for being here again. I'm going to fall straight into it. We're going to be talking bikinis today. Bikinis and fitness, indeed. First of all, before we get to the nice part, fitness. This is a game, being a deep diver, that you really got to be on your game. You've got to be fit to do this.
Yes. I think in the previous episode we chatted about the technical side of it and the physiological issues that can go wrong with you.
And the different gases that you're taking into your body, yeah.
And one of them is, for example, carbon dioxide buildup in your body. And if you're not fit, if your lungs don't work well, you will lose presence of mind and things can definitely go wrong. And also, you have to be fit. And during the dive, everything is relaxed, chilled. But when things go wrong, that's when you need to be absolutely fit. And also, 3 hours decompression, it takes a lot out of you. You don't really realize it, but and from my friend, Gomez, who's the world record holder, he's extremely fit. I'm average fit, but he's next level.
Very fit.
Yes.
So, Nuno Gomez, just to put it in perspective for somebody that's watching now, is a deep sea diver. Well, he's the world record holder. In fact, about 318 or 320 meters deep that the man went.
Correct, yes.
What was the decision on going to, but first, before we get to that, who is Nuno Gomez?
Nuno Gomez was born in Portugal, and they moved here when he was 14 years old. He grew up at the ocean in Portugal, spearfished, and he also was landlocked in Johannesburg in Pretoria. That didn't stop him. He progressed to a trimix deep dive instructor, deep cave dive instructor, and holds the deepest cave dive record in the world in Bushmansgat, in Kuruman in South Africa, 282 meters. And then we went to the Red Sea to also claim the deepest sea or open water record. And that's how, he did his research. And he found that the Red Sea, because the deep water is so close to the shore, and because it's a smallish ocean, there are no currents. However, the wind can cause problems, which it did. But that seemed to be the most suitable place to try and attempt something crazy like that.
You did attempt something crazy like that. How big a team do you need to do this? I mean, you mentioned in the last program as well that you need, if you're going down, you need 4 other people on 4 different spots and this and that. It's the decompression, it's going back up. There's a lot of work that goes into something like that.
Yes. So Nuno will do a solo dive to 300 meters plus. However, it takes a team of about 18 people to make that happen for him. On those dives, he used about 48 scuba cylinders for him personally. The support divers also used about that much. It's a 12.5-hour dive. When I was his deep support diver, I had my own deep support team.
So you went deeper than certain people who were looking after you as well.
Yeah? Yes. So I had people looking after me, but the whole team looked after Nuno. Anyway, he did his research and found that the Red Sea would be the most suitable place to go. But and it is certainly a team effort. We had people from Poland, Russia, South Africa, of course, Egypt. So it was a multinational or international team.
Also cool being part of a world record.
Oh, of course, yes. And I mean, it was
spotted a coelacanth and now world record.
Yeah, it was an honor to be asked by Nuno to be his deep support. Because that's the first time someone makes contact with him on his way up. And on the first attempt in 2004, something did go wrong on the first attempt, and I was the first person there to see that, things are not going right. Swapped cylinders, helped him, because by that time he was chasing, almost holding his breath to each next decompression stage. And but anyway, we sorted out the problem. It was tough, but yep. And the year after that, he was back, and he then broke the world record. And there were many attempts. This was in 2005. Many attempts after that to break the record. Some of them ended in fatalities. Others were, severe decompression sickness. Others basically faked the dive evidence or did not have any evidence but made the claims. But anyway, the position is still, that he holds the current record at the moment. There have been a couple of attempts and claims, but it was not proven. So yeah.
Look, one of the coolest stories I've read of you is Bikini Atoll is a place where you've been diving, which I think is an incredible place to go for anybody that is a diving fanatic. But
yeah.
How does it work? Tell me more about Bikini Atoll. It's not just a bunch of people running around in bikinis. It's actually where they blew stuff up. They blew a lot of shit up there.
Yes. So Bikini Atoll is part of the Marshall Islands. And if you look at the Pacific Ocean, if you try and find the most remote spot in the Pacific Ocean, that is where it is. And if you Google Earth it and you fly into it, it's just in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And I was lucky enough to be asked to join and be a cameraman and, part of the expedition. And the idea was to go and dive on the shipwrecks that you can see on that iconic nuclear explosions that happened there, and to go and see what it looks like now, and also to go and dive on the shipwrecks. To have a look at what, nature, the coral reefs, because it's a pristine, or it used to be a pristine coral atoll, and in the middle of the ocean.
And untouched.
And there were small populations staying on an island close by and on Bikini Island itself. However, after one of the nuclear tests, which was a complete environmental disaster, there was nuclear fallout on a lot of the islands in the chain, and everybody was evacuated. They replaced meters and meters of topsoil, replanted palm trees. The ocean was toxic. It was just a complete disaster. And after that, they stopped the tests as well, because it was just too toxic to
What was that? What was the decision to go, well, we're not going to do this here anymore? It's obviously affecting our nature, Mother Nature too much.
Yes, so obviously there was an environmental impact, but I think the social impact, because the few inhabitants of that area all had to be moved to the Marshall Islands, and it was just not safe for the US Navy at that stage to carry on conducting these tests, because everything was radioactive. And strangely enough, the ocean recovered in the 50s, in the last 50, 60 years, completely recovered. It's beautiful, although there are craters which are about 2 kilometers wide.
But you've been in those craters. You
Yes.
physically went and dove in there. How does it look?
And
how amazing is it?
It's covered in soft coral. The fish life is abundant. It looks beautiful, and in my opinion, it is because it was untouched by humans the last 60 years, and the ocean certainly has the capacity to rejuvenate and recover.
That's crazy. I mean, but being in like diving there, and you've seen plastic. I mean, you've seen plastic
Yes,
drifting
on the
around
islands.
in places where we just mentioned now it's been untouched by humans.
untouched by humans, but it's not untouched.
We've done our best. We have messed that up as well.
Lots of fishing nets, plastic bottles, these containers, anything that washes up, especially on the trade wind side. And you know, you would think you won't see anything, but you do. You know, yeah.
And also, I mean, you say when you go down there, to explain to somebody that is a diver, how amazing is Bikini Atoll?
Yes, so it's an atoll, so it's surrounded by islands and a few inlets into the lagoon. And the lagoon it's fairly large. The bottom is about 55 meters deep, and in the lagoon lies all those wrecks, and there are some famous wrecks that we went diving on. The one is it's an aircraft carrier, the USS Saratoga, and when she was sunk, she was fully fueled, fully armed with live bombs, torpedoes, full of airplanes, P-51 dive bombers and fighter planes. So it was a fully functional aircraft carrier, and they wanted to test what the effect of the blast would be. Other famous shipwrecks that we dived on was the Nagata, and that was a famous Japanese battleship.
Also World War II.
Also used in the World War II. And the Nagata was a war prize to the US, and they decided to blow it up.
Yeah. You know? Thank you so much. Screw that. Yeah. Blow it up.
But they battled to sink her because she was a tough ship. A 3-layered hull, and she lies upside down. And yeah, I had a bit of a scare in one of the dives in there, because the Nagata lies upside down like a tortoise shell, and you have to go down underneath and then go up to get into the ship.
The hull, basically, yes. Yeah.
Yes, and it's and obviously it's dark. It's, you know, it silts up quickly, and because it's a Japanese ship, the doorways are quite narrow, and with a video camera, 2 cylinders, you know, it becomes quite a bit of an issue to swim through. And anyway, and on one of the dives, we just took a little shortcut through the ship, and I was behind with the camera filming Nuno and the other diver, the leader. And as I was catching up, I realized suddenly they were completely gone. And we were then past the line, the guideline, and anyway, I decided, you know, what am I going to do now? If I try and swim back, I will get lost and die. You know, if I swim away from this spot, if they do come back, they won't find me. So what I did was I just switched the lights of my camera off and waited there for 8 minutes for Nuno and the other guy to come back.
Did they eventually come back?
Thank God they did.
Oh, God.
Anyway,
I'm not built for these movies, Pieter. I'm really not. Jeez, yeah.
Yeah, no, it is the darkest dark you can imagine. Anyway, I switched the lights off so that I can see their lights when they return, and thank God they did. Anyway, and then we went out, but it was one of the scary moments. Sure. Yeah, it's not a joke to dive or to wreck dive if anything goes wrong.
Sure, no, once again, I've seen too many movies. But so, how beautiful would you compare that to dives that you've done? How beautiful is it there?
You know, I would say it's one of the best dive areas I've been to. You know, it takes 6 hours, 6 flights, and 24 hours sailing to get there, and that's why it's so remote. It is possible to go and dive there now. They do have charters that can take you. It's certainly worthwhile to go. It's fantastic. And it's pristine. You know, there are islands which are just completely surrounded with sharks, and sharks normally show a healthy ecosystem. And no, it's just fantastic. I have to say, the Red Sea, where we had the world record dives, also absolutely fantastic, you know.
And it's weird that it's up there as well. Like it's very salty, in the Red Sea.
Yeah, you're thinking of the Dead Sea, I think.
Sea.
Yes, but certainly because it's a smallish part of the ocean, the salt quality is a little bit, or concentration is a little bit higher for sure.
Talk to me about Namibia. I mean, just off the coast of Africa, right here in the south tip of Africa, we've got some. I mean, we've got some beautiful dives.
Yes, yes. So there are 2 dive sites in Namibia where we dived. There are quite a few, but the 2 main ones we went to. The one is Lake Otjikoto. It's a sinkhole, and its maximum depth is about 80 meters or so. So it's not that crazy deep. The visibility is not that good, but why it's so famous, when the South African army invaded Namibia in World War I, they chased the German army up north, and they dumped their ammunitions, cannons, everything in Lake Otjikoto, so that the South African army cannot capture it. And all of those things are still in the lake and well preserved. It's beautiful to go and dive and watch this. Some of it has been taken out, and it's in the museum in Tsumeb. So you can see the pristine recovered one, and also underwater. And then the other dive site, which was quite nice, is Lake Guinness. It's much larger. It's about 80 meters by 50 meters. It's also a massive sinkhole, and that goes down to about 140, 150 meters, and it's got quite a lot of caves going into the sides. It's a mission to dive there because you have to abseil up and down, but it's about a 30, 40 meter drop to the water. So it's it's like an expedition style to go and dive there. You know, it's a team effort. Yeah.
Did you see yourself when you were studying that you were going to be doing all of this?
No,
that you were going to be diving, that you were going to be discovering dinosaur fish? Like.
No, not at all. No, it's just I think it all started with the coelacanth. You know, I love exploring. So whenever I dive, I keep my eyes open. You know, there's always something around the corner.
And it is true. So what's next for you? What do you still want to do? Are there any spots in the world that you almost haven't dived or still want to go and see?
You know, there was a expedition that I tried to organize, but then my children got born, because this would have been quite a difficult thing. The location's called Lake Kashiba in Zambia, close to the Copper Belt, I think Andola, yes. And what it is, it's also a sinkhole. It's about 180 meters by 70 meters, and the caves that go on in the side has never been explored. But the reason why it was interesting for me was there's a legend that there were 2 tribes fighting, and the leader of one of the tribes got killed, and the whole tribe decided to commit suicide by tying themselves together and jumping into that lake. And it would have taken, and in those lakes, the bones would have been preserved because of the low oxygen levels. So it would have been possible to go and possibly film whether this legend is true or not. Yeah. You know, so that was a bee in my bonnet, and we got close to doing it, but it might still happen. We'll see. You know.
Tell me about, except for the coelacanth, I mean, which was, you thought you were goofed or knocked in the beginning, like for the first time. What else have you seen in these depths that have really just like...
You know, the strange, in Lake Guinness, I was on a dive on my own, and I was swimming into a cave, and it's not like you would think a cave would be a narrow tunnel. It was a wide, flat tunnel. So, and the bottom of the tunnel looked like, you know, a dried up a lake, you know,
like a lake
mud.
Bed. Yes, yeah, with those cracks.
And the top as well. So clearly it was this a lake bed that got split up, and I was swimming in this, and I saw in my lights I saw a little bone, which is about 5 millimeters thick and about 30 centimeters long, and obviously it must have been from some flying creature, you know, because it's so thin and fragile. But it was fused in the rocks, so I couldn't pick it up. But anyway, I continued swimming, and when I got close to the edge of the tunnel, the deeper end, that part drops off into the abyss to 140 meters or whatever.
Oh, got it.
And
That's deep.
I just saw this massive bone lying there. And when I picked it up, it was solid rock. And it just so happened that, well, I took it out and we took it to Wits University, and they determined it was the femur of an extinct rhino, the species which was extinct for
like years ago.
Millions of years ago. And anything between 3 and 13 million years old. And anyway, we shipped that fossil back to the Namibian authorities, the Namibian Heritage Council. Got into trouble.
I was about to say, because it's not yours, yeah.
No. Yeah, I was oblivious, and I almost got into trouble for that. But shipped it back, and so the issue was resolved. But it just shows to show that you know, when it's uncharted territory, anything is out there. And I'm sure if you investigate further or survey further, there will be plenty of other fossils around there. And some others that I've seen is fused into the rock. You know, obviously I was hoping to find the skull of whatever. Yeah. But
and the rhino horn and everything, like proper. That would have been cool.
Would have been awesome, but it might still be there, you know, you don't know. It might have fallen off that edge, then that would be very difficult to find.
That's going to be a deep dive.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And your kids, have they, you mentioned earlier, are they following in your footsteps? Are they doing what Dad does?
They both did the open water 1 courses, and we've gone in a couple of dives. But I'm you know, those dives are very risky, the deep dive. So, you know, I've cooled down a bit. But you know, I dive with the boys, and my wife also dives. And
the boys need a dad. You know, you can't go 300 meters deep anymore because
no. It's just, yeah. It's, you know, at some stage you have to say, okay, you know,
that's enough.
The risks are not worth it.
But also, well, not do you see it in your kids, but obviously if there's no future, I mean, if we don't look after our planet, if we don't look after our oceans, if we don't look after what we're doing, I mean, the next thing we're going to be visiting aren't bikini islands, it's going to be, you know, plastic islands that are going to be floating by. So
floating plastic islands.
Are the kids these days falling into that category of saving the planet?
You know, I think they are far more aware of environmental and social issues than we were when we grew up, you know.
And we weren't. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you, but plastic straws were plastic straws.
Yeah, we didn't think cared, you know. Certainly they are far more aware of this, you know, recycling. They are doing their bit, you know, they love nature. They're out as much as they can, so yes, you know, they are.
They're doing their thing.
They love the diving as well, so yes.
And where are you staying now? Down the coast?
In Stellenbosch.
Oh, it's close enough to the coast, further than here. Remember when I drive an hour from here, I'm in Joburg. That sucks. Like, you drive and you're on Strand and you're somewhere there. So spend a lot of time in the ocean, spend a lot of time at the sea?
I do. I started surfing again, and
nice.
But I picked up a small little issue, so it's on the back foot now. But both my boys bodyboard, they take it seriously. They ride their mountain bikes, yeah.
Pieter, thank you very much for joining us again on the Robbie Cruise Show. It's great to see that you're not plastic as well, that you're carrying our name.
Good to be back.
Out on the coast. Okay. With your future endeavors, all the best. We look forward to following that and all the rest. Do you post some of your stuff? Can we see some of your videos and so on?
You know, I've been planning to start a YouTube channel because I have so much video material with me and I'm not doing anything with it. Hopefully we'll show a bit of it on your show.
Definitely.
But I am planning to post some of it, you know. Yes.
Man, I took a photo of a dinosaur fish, the one and only Pieter Venter. Thank you very much for being on the show. Really appreciate it.
Awesome.
And,
Thanks.
To deeper dives. Well, not anymore, but yeah, you get it. You get it. Cool. That's the end of episode 10. Thanks for watching. Go subscribe.
I'm Pieter Venter and I'm still not plastic.
Hi, I'm Justin from Ichtys Aquaponics, and I'm not plastic.
I'm Not Plastic segment for this week is a very interesting guy, and you're definitely going to learn something today if you haven't yet. It's something that we were interested in a while ago. But Ichtys Aquaponics. I hope I got it right. Justin.
You know what, Robbie? Well done.
Thank you.
I've heard every name on the planet.
He arrived.
Spot on.
He arrived here and he said it's like ichthyology or what?
Ichthyology.
Ichthyology, and I was like, explain it to a radio DJ that doesn't know much. What do you guys do?
So basically, we're an aquaponics business. We'll get into what aquaponics is, but basically, the heart of what we do is to change the future of farming, or to future-proof farming.
And aquaponics itself, what exactly is that? I know it's got to do with fishes, water, and growing stuff, and that cycle is very good for Earth. Good for the Earth.
Kind of. So aquaponics actually joins two farming methods. It takes aquaculture, so that's the aqua part of aquaponics, and hydroponics, that's the ponics part of aquaponics. Now, aquaculture, farming of fish. Fastest growing industry in the world. We are farming more fish today than we're catching in the seas.
Oh,
so, fish farming in its own right is one methodology that's part of aquaponics. And obviously hydroponics, which is the growing of plants in a soilless media using nutrient-rich water. So feeding those plants. Now, the beauty of why would these two things go hand in hand? I mean, what's fish got to do with plants? Nothing. But they solve problems for each other. They mimic nature. So the fish, when they eat, they excrete, they produce a lot of nutrient, which is actually a problem in fish farming. What do you do
so
with
where does that
waste?
go? Yeah,
Correct. So often that waste is dumped, environmentally dumped, or you use lots of water. Now we take that fish waste and we feed it to the plants. The plants extract all the nutrition from that, and what goes back to our fish is clean water. So
it's just that
it's a
cycle that
100%
you
recycled. So we don't waste water. We use 100% of all the water is recycled. Now,
and all that goes to the plant material as well, and then comes back. And it's
correct.
Just
So get in your head, farming fish using 95% less water than traditional farming.
That's, and I mean irrigation. It's like a drought. It's this. It's when we don't have water that we can use.
That's the thing. I mean, we'll be in water deficit in the next 5 years. So what are we doing about it? And so aquaponics, when I found out about it, I just thought this is magical. I mean, I love fishing, so that was my hook.
Yeah, that's
that
like
was my hook.
I was about to say, like, where did this whole thing? Because I mean, you've been going for quite a while. You've been going for about 7 years now. This is again not something that's happened overnight. An incredible businessman. But where did that whole love for it come from? You decide I'm going to do this.
So I've always been passionate about farming, especially conservation agriculture, and. When my son was born, we were looking to move out of Parkhurst into somewhere with a bit more space and a garden. And a friend told me, hey, come check out this house for sale. It's on a plot in Midrand. I'm like, a plot? I'm not so sure about this. I went through, and on the plot, he had an aquaponics farm. And he was one of the first guys to do it in the country.
To get into it.
Yeah, correct. And when I saw it, I said to the wife, we're buying this place. I'm sorry. Like, I fell in love with it.
Oh, wow.
And so from there, I taught myself. I went on different courses, and I became obsessed. But at that time, I was also working for the banks.
So it wasn't your full-time thing.
Not when I started.
Is it at the moment now?
It has been.
So how big are you guys growing? What are you guys busy with now?
So basically, over the last, like you say, 7 years, we've developed the business, and it's shifted and it's evolved. But at the end of the day, we've got multiple assets of it. So what we realized was, when I started, there was nowhere to go learn. There was no one doing it. There was no educational aspect. So we started the academy. And the academy was really to take what we had learned from our own farming and then be able to help farmers not make those same mistakes.
So you're educating people to actually know how to do aquaponics, how to get this whole thing.
And having been one of the first farmers really in the world to do it commercially, we realized a lot of the issues along the way that was stopping the progress.
And the stumbling blocks,
Yeah, correct. Okay, yeah. So we started the academy, which is based off all of our learnings from our farming, over the years. We've set up a process that I like to call an end-to-end for clients. So we help you from day one. What is aquaponics? How does it work? We help you with designing the right system for the right area. We help with the construction of it. And then we support you. And that's where my heart is, to support the farmer, because farming's hard. It's hardcore.
Yeah, it's a constant thing. I mean, it's an everyday thing.
It's an everyday thing. It's like people are so used to this, a business, digital business, and I do this, and I just make money, and I can do it from my bed. Farming's not that. And when things go wrong, you need support to be able to overcome it. So
why are your fish not producing? Why is this not happening? Why is that not happening? So you guys can come and set up a proper whole growing system at a house, at a supermarket, wherever it might be, or at a building. You guys do that whole thing from beginning to end.
Yeah, 100%. We're setting up systems in all over, actually, in Guinea, Mauritius, Zimbabwe, Botswana, South Africa. But it's just exciting to see this industry grow.
Amazing, it really is.
It really, really is. And like I said, for me, it's the future of farming. It's natural, it's organic.
So Justin, on what scale, I mean, you speak about this replacing traditional farming, on what scale can you do this, and what would you grow? Like, what things are you able to grow?
So, look, great question. I mean, in terms of scale, you can have something, here on your doorstep if you want.
So growing just for my own house, just for that?
Yeah. I mean, we put systems in shops that the plants were literally still growing in, that customers bought living product from. All the way up to full-scale, hectare-size systems. But it completely depends on, obviously, the market and the region and various factors. But like you mentioned, the crop that you grow has to be a high-value crop. So typically what we're growing is things like tomatoes, cucumbers, herbs, lettuce.
Your greens.
Your greens. As a staple, spring onions, chives, which is your common consumables. Your fresh, your fresh produce.
Yes.
But the beauty is we're located and you can do it anywhere. So you can literally build it on a concrete slab if that's all that's available. You're not dependent on the earth.
Yeah.
So your distance to market.
And you're not hurting the earth as well, taking more than what you need.
But also the transport of those goods. I mean, that's probably the farmer's biggest cost. Transporting those goods, keeping them fresh from the farm to the warehouse, to the shop,
to the actual person that's going to eat it. That's a logistical nightmare.
No, it is. It's huge. And the price of fuel, throws farmers off. Whereas we deliver to customers within a 10K radius. That's
now, where do we Ichtys? Where do we find more about you guys? Because we'd love to send some cameras. We're going to come and check out your place. I'd love to see this.
Awesome.
Like, I really want to do a little walkthrough of how the whole thing works. But where can we find you guys to find out more about what you do?
So easiest is go to the website. Aquaponics.africa.
That's it.
That's our website address, very simple. Or just Google Ichtys, you'll find us. And everything.
You can see on his shirt there. There we go. Ichtys. Easy. Ichtys.
Ichtys. And we've got all the information's on there. We do free tours of the farm at the moment. We're doing those virtually, which is great.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
And there's been great interest from all over the world. It's fascinating.
And it's not just a local thing. I mean, you want to go international. Are you busy international? Is that something that you...
Our focus is Africa, and we believe that doing aquaponics for Africa is slightly different to how they do it in America and the likes, because we don't have the equipment, we don't have the resources, we don't have the capital costs.
The infrastructures.
Correct. So we've really developed low-cost ways, sustainable ways to do it in Africa, and that's my heart, is Africa. So our focus at the moment, mostly Southern Africa, but we are doing work further up Northern Africa. It's really exciting, and the growth has been just phenomenal.
It's amazing. Listen, Justin, really cool having you on the show. Thanks a lot for popping in. I could sit for a day long and chat about this, because it really is a phenomenal thing to do, and a great thing that you guys have been busy with the last 7 years. And I hope that the next 7 years are even bigger and booming and amazing. But thanks for joining us, and we'd love to see you at your plant.
Yeah, so we'll see you guys on our side of town.
Okay, I like it. We're going to go and check it out. Ichtys, so make sure that you go and follow them. They're on social media as well, and they've got a website and all that stuff at aquaponics.africa.
Correct, aquaponics.africa.
Aquaponics.africa. Go read more about it, go check it out. These guys are saving the world one fish at a time. So go do your part, just go watch. Thanks for watching, appreciate it.